this opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam today. So let's start by reciting the prayers. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim yasam tato jayam udiraye nasta prayeshu abadveshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki nama om vishnu bhadaya krishna presthaya bhutale श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. So today we would be discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 1, chapter number 14, verse number 5. Nimittani atyarishtani kale tva anugate nunam lobha adi adharma prakritim drishtvo vachanujam nirpa. Word to word meaning. Nimittani, causes, ati, very serious, arishtani, bad omens, kale, in course of time, tu, but, anugate, passing away, nyanam, of humanity at large, lobha adi, such as greed, adharma, irreligious, prakritim, habits, drishtva, having observed, uvacha, said, anujam, younger brother, nripa, the king. Translation. In course of time, it came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaja Yudhishthira, observing all these omens, spoke to his younger brother. Purport. Such a pious king as Maharaja Yudhishthira at once became perturbed when there were such inhuman symptoms as greed, anger, irreligiosity, and hypocrisy rampant in society. It appears from this statement that all these symptoms of degraded society were unknown to people of the time, and it was astonishing for them to have experienced them with the advent of the Kali Yuga, or the age of quarrel. So here, in this particular verse, we see that the focus is on the bad omens or the inauspiciousness that is slowly creeping up. So actually, this particular chapter, which is the disappearance of Lord Krishna, we need to understand some technical details. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is described in detail about Krishna's mission in this material world, which is in 4.7. The famous shloka, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So the last line, especially the word srijami aham, it means manifest. So Krishna's body is not created, it is not material, he just manifests. So this is actually pointed out by Srila Prabhupada in the purport of Bhagavad Gita, conveying that Krishna's body is not created, it is not like us. Therefore, Krishna is always on the transcendental platform and not on the material platform. So we need to keep in mind that this point is a key to understanding today's verse and this entire chapter. So the whole structure of Srimad Bhagavatam, currently we are discussing the chapter 14, which is the disappearance of Lord Krishna. And although this is in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, like generally the first two cantos of Bhagavatam is like an introduction or the prelude to the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. But the interesting thing here is that we find that at the beginning of Bhagavatam, it starts with the end of the story, which is the disappearance of Lord Krishna from this material world. So that is one interesting point which Acharyas point out. And also in the 14th chapter, the first 21 verses are like an entire small unit, which is discussing on the theme that, Arjuna didn't come back from Dwaraka, and the inauspicious omens, they are slowly beginning to manifest. And uh, like I said, Krishna is leaving this material world, but actually everything is his pastime. So how we understand this, that it is his pastime, it's because we can also see in the other places of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially in the Canto 11 and chapter 6, Lord Brahma, he is offering prayers to Lord Krishna. And along with all the demigods, Lord Brahma, approaches Lord Krishna and offers prayers. And the Lord is replying and responding to Lord Brahma. So why this particular mention of Canto 11, chapter 6 is here? It is because even in that place, the same pastime is being discussed. How the Yadu dynasty is going to be annihilated, and how Lord Krishna, he plans and he replies to Brahma, telling that first Lord Brahma comes to Lord Krishna and offers prayers, and he tells Lord Krishna that you have completed your duty in this material world, and what that particular duty is. So that particular duty is given in the purport of Bhagavad Gita 4.7 and 4.8, the famous shloka Pavitranaya Sadhunam. So Brahma, he tells Krishna that you have already removed all the burdens from the earth, and you have killed all those demons, and you also established the principles of religion. And like this, Krishna also performed many wonderful pastimes, and his glories are spread all over the universe. And whoever can hear such glories, they will be purified and become free from the material world. So, like this, Lord Brahma is glorifying the Lord. And now Brahma says that everything is done now. And on behalf of the demigods, he says that you have helped us to remove the burden from the earth, and that mission is completed. And now myself and demigods, we would take care of the managerial affairs, and you can go back to your own abode. So like this, he's slowly requesting the Lord. And then Lord Krishna, he reveals his plans, telling that he explains that I have to destroy my own dynasty. So like this, the conversation between Lord Krishna and Brahma, it is happening in Dwaraka city. So Brahma went to Dwaraka city, he met Krishna, he offered prayers, and then when he comes to the point telling that you can please go back to your spiritual abode now, and I would be taking care of the managerial affairs. And here the Lord reveals his plan, telling that he needs to annihilate his own dynasty because they are too much powerful. And if they become proud, then that would create a big havoc in this whole world. So then, by the curse of the great sages, the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty had begun. And in our universe, particularly the four-headed Brahma, is actually sharing a friendly relationship to Lord Krishna. So he had a personal and friendly relationship with Krishna, and like this, they are exchanging some conversations. And Lord Krishna, the pastime goes on in the Canto 11, chapter 6, where Lord Krishna says that after my pastime is completed here in this material world, while going back to Vaikuntha, I'll pay a small visit to your planet. So, like this, Lord Brahma and Krishna are having a sweet exchanges. And here, the title of this chapter, that is The Disappearance of Lord Krishna, sometimes we notice that the acharyas and great devotees, whenever they give comments, they would like to use the word departure instead of disappearance, because I believe every one of us, we would have at some point in our life traveled in either a bus or a train or a flight. So there are places called arrivals and departure. So departure means that you have departed from here and you would arrive at a certain place. So Krishna is also like that. So Krishna's appearance and disappearance is considered to be like the appearance and disappearance of the sun. So the sun rises in this place, that means the sun has disappeared from another place. And if the sun is disappearing at this particular place, means that it would arrive at another place. And Krishna's pastimes, they are also the same. And if we reflect on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions to Sanatan Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I believe it should be somewhere in the 20th chapter. That is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions to Sanatan Goswami about the science of absolute truth. So, in that chapter, the discussion is about the rotation of Krishna's pastimes, especially starting from Madhya Leela. uh, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Sanatan Goswami how the just like the sun, it has an orbit, and sun is moving in its own orbit. So according to this orbit, the other planetary systems also move in their own orbit. So Lord Krishna's pastimes also have an orbit, and uh, just like how the other planets they're moving on their zodiac, even Krishna's pastimes are also like the movement of a constellation. So it is expanding to all the universes. And Srila Prabhupada said that actually in every day of Lord Brahma, uh, i- in every day of Lord Brahma, that is like almost maybe 8 billion or 640 million so years, that half of that is Brahma's daytime and half is his nighttime. And during his daytime, every day Lord Krishna would appear once for 125 years. So it is like a schedule of appearances. So like this, though Lord's appearance is on schedule, here in this particular verse, we see that Arjuna, he did not return on schedule from Dwaraka. And Yudhishthira, he's very much worried and contemplating. 7 months ago that I had sent Arjuna, but he's still not back. And along with that, all the ill omens, the inauspiciousness, all of them are being manifesting. So Yudhishthira thinks that if Krishna is on the earth, it is not possible that something like this would happen. But there's only one possibility that this situation would arise. And that means Krishna has already disappeared. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, he suspected that this particular thing has happened, and he's feeling great lamentation in his heart. But we should know how to understand Krishna's appearance and disappearance. Otherwise, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, Krishna's disappearance, it would become a complex thing for the lame man to understand. So it is so complicated, we cannot understand, because Krishna's pastime, starting from the one where he killed Putana, uh, till the annihilation of the members of the Yadu dynasty, everything happened in a very wonderful manner. And although Krishna is performing human like pastimes, but all his human like pastimes, it is not for the ordinary mundane man. It is completely transcendental, because who can kill a demon just in few days of being born? And who can lift the big Govardhan hill on the tip of his fingers, and that too of the left hand, and for 7 days? And from the commentary of the previous acharyas, especially Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he mentions that he said some people they might doubt. What doubt? That there is so much downpour of rain that is being sent by Indra during the Govardhan Leela, by Indra, by his Samvartaka clouds, so much rain that say you have an umbrella, you can hold the rain, but there should be flood on the ground, right? But there was not one drop of water on the ground. That is because of Lord's inconceivable potency. So as soon as the raindrops fell on the earth, it evaporated and it got absorbed. So nobody is disturbed. Even the grass, the creepers, the flowers, the trees, none of them were disturbed. So that is how wonderful Krishna is. And this is just one such instance. So coming to another such instance, he married more than 16,000 queens, and simultaneously he stays with each one of them. So here the point that is being highlighted is that Krishna, he is Bhaktavatsala. So he is reciprocating with his devotees. He married all of these intimate associates, uh, and he made them his queens because he wanted them to flow in the ocean of ecstasy. So he's reciprocating the love, the wisdom, and so many pastimes are completely inconceivable by an ordinary human being, and they cannot be performed by an ordinary human being. And at the end, this particular departure, it is more difficult to understand. Amongst all of his human-like pastimes, this is considered to be the most difficult to understand. And I was listening, um, I was listening to a lecture where the speaker he repeated this particular sentence from the purport twice, and he repeated this line twice because it has a secret. So the lines say that the Lord left his body means that he left his plenary portions in the respective dhams or transcendental abodes, as he left his Virat Rupa in the material world. And when we say about the word plenary portions, in the early part of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned what are the plenary portions, because there are different places use different annotations. And in the early part of the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned plenary portions refers to his Chatura expansions of the Lord, like Shankarshan, Vasudeva, and other Narayana. And how to understand this is only by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga that we can understand this. So, on the same context, His Holiness Krishna Keshav Maharaj, about this sentence, he says that how Krishna he left this material world, but he leaves his plenary portions in this material world in the holy dhams or the transcendental abodes. And where in the holy dhams, it refers to the deities. So His Holiness Krishna Keshav Maharaj, he remembers how Srila Prabhupada, he's having darshan of the deities. And when Prabhupada is having darshan of the deities, there's a distinct feeling. So what kind of feeling? So that particular feeling is that Krishna is at that time with him. He's personally present with him. So as devotees, we need to ask how can we get that kind of experience? Because we also see pure devotees, especially some of our senior pujaris, we can see that when they are with the deities, when they offer arati or show the mirror to Gandharvika Girdhari or Lakshmi Narasimha, they're showing a personal bond, a personal connection, because they're attracted. And we also see how the pure devotees, like Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they are participating in the Guru Puja, they're offering Pushpanjali to Srila Prabhupada, and they're praying to the deities. They are having a personal connection, or they're having a conversation with the deities, and they're glorifying their deities. So, as devotees, we need to have this kind of personal connection because that is our hope. So, Krishna Keshav Maharaj says that the exact words he uses is that is our hope against hope, that one day we will also get that kind of attraction to Krishna. And not only to Krishna, but to the pure devotees, to Srila Prabhupada, his disciples, and all other Vaishnavas. And then, if we develop that attraction, we have the hope of going back to Godhead and joining the Lord in his eternal pastimes. So, here in the purport of this current verse, we see that the last line is about bad omens arising, and people come to know slowly about greed, anger, irreligiosity, and hypocrisy. So, on this context, one of the lecture I was listening from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, there are some practical tips for devotees to avoid bad omens or inauspiciousness or bad habits. So the question is, how do we change our bad habits? So, for example, the Sunday program, it is very inspiring, but when we go back home, uh, we again fall back into our old habits. So there is two aspects to changing these habits. So one is rejection and the other one is replacement. So rejection of a habit is usually difficult, but replacement is much easier. So if you just, come to the Sunday program, that is actually developing a positive habit. And in general, the process of bhakti focuses not so much on saying no to the wrong things as saying yes to the right things. And actually, there are some impersonal spiritualists, who sentimentally they say, I won't do this, I should not be doing this, or I can't do this. So the focus is on what we will not do, but that is not very satisfying, right? So if I'm only thinking about what I should not do, that only increases the craving that maybe I should do it. So we need some positive focus for our thoughts to replace the negative habits by the positive habits and to cultivate positive habits and fill the entire schedule with activities that give positive thoughts and positive contemplations. And by that, the old habits will fall away. And this is a gradual process. And instantaneously, you would not begin to see the results. So, usually, we can create two kinds of supports for ourselves. One is pushers towards the positive, and the second is blockers from the negative. That means pushers towards the positive is if we develop some positive habits, say, for example, coming to the association of devotees and chanting rounds, doing japa regularly. So, whatever it is, then if we have some friends circle or a social devotee circle where we keep pushing each other or push towards the positive side, um, for example, if we decide that I like to study scripture or hear a class or engage myself in learning a bhajan, so that inspires me a lot. Then, if we have a friend who reminds you that, did you do some hearing today, or did you learn anything new this week? So, like this, if we have some pushers towards the positive side, and along with that, it is also important to have blockers from the negative side. So, blockers from the negative means if we have certain habits which we want to break, then it is vital that we don't keep the opportunity for indulging in those habits. So, one example is that if somebody is alcoholic and he wants to give up, so the first advice that anybody would advise them is that stop associating yourself with other alcoholics. So that person might say, "No, I'm strong myself. I'll go mingle with alcoholics, but I would not drink." But that is his determination, but it will be washed away by the association and it would be swept away. So we have to create some external blockers. So by doing these two things, first is filling our life externally with positive activities and filling our heart with positive thoughts. And secondly, creating pushers towards the positive and blockers from the negative. So we would find that we would, to a far extent, avoid the inauspiciousness, the bad omens, and it would help us replace the bad habits with the good habits. So, with this, I would like to thank you all for your patient listening. And I also thank you all for giving me this opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam today. Hare Krishna.